Welcome everybody, I'm Johan and I'm the producer at Paradox for our internal projects. Now you obviously want to know what's new and why would people love the third part of the series compared to the second and the previous ones. Well, there's three aspects we've been focusing very hard on the game. First of all, we've been thinking, what can we do better? And secondly, what do the fans that like the game want? And thirdly, we were thinking, well, it would be nice if more people buy the game, because then I could probably get more money. Let's start the game. It's a grand strategy game, World War II. You can play any country in the world. The keyword for Archon 3 is more, more, more. So we've been focusing on making a cool map. So we're going 15,000 provinces this time to make a real in-depth grand strategy war game. As you see, everything from Europe to Asia to Africa, zoomed in into the lowest detail where you can see like the names eventually on the provinces and the details of every little army. There's a lot of new map modes where you can see like terrain still through, and we're merging different map modes into several others. Like we can see like intelligence, where you can see etc. different levels of fog of war, etc. Another aspect here of control is of course the units. As an example, in this unit interface where we're working on units, we have all these like little details about the units, but the most important part is in the middle. This is where we will have the AI control of the game. Here you'll get like what kind of objectives you've been setting to your units, what kind of objectives the AI think is a good idea for your unit. You also know about like what's your power here, can you do this order, what's the estimated enemy powers, what kind of more troops would you be able to do for this action we're trying. And don't worry about the niggly details about like moving this division there and that division there at this date. It should be possible to filter it down through the AI levels. Of course, you have to play with the country as well. For that, we have the top bars here where you can access the 5 different aspects of the game. First of all, we have diplomacy. First of all, you have the browser to the left where you can like select which country, get some quick information about them, and in the middle you have the selected country and some information about it, and different actions you can do. There's a few new actions here. And we also have a new thing called historical diplomatic actions. If you're playing like Germany, you can do certain things at historical dates if you've done the prerequisites. Like Germany, you can do the Anschluss of Austria if you manage to convince Austrians to become fascists and like you a lot. Here you see a big triangle. Every country in the world has a position in the alignment between democracy, communism and fascism. What you're doing in your diplomatic, if you're playing one of the majors, you want to convince the other minor nations to be more similar than you, and then they will slowly float towards your position on this chart. At the top of the diplomatic here we have the new thing, specific thing we call factions. There are 3 factions in the game called the Axis, the Allies and the Comintern. Being a member of a faction grants special powers and special abilities. As an example, the Comintern, they can do the communist trading, which means that they are basically, they don't have to use money to trade, they can barter. The next screen here is production. Kind of similar to our previous games, we've added another resource called fuel to separate the crude oil and having a separate resource for the logistics management. A new aspect here is one thing that our fans have requested for years and years. You can design your own troops totally. Okay, let's say we want to make a cavalry division, we give them 2 cavalry here. Let's say we add some military police to it. This is our cavalry brigade, and we start production of it, and we get the first cavalry division there. Then we can keep building those kind of things and save us your own templates what your division should be. Thirdly, technology. We've been revising technology completely. There's a lot of stats there at the bottom of the screen, which basically tells you how good is your country at certain types of research. These icons here match an icon there. Depending on your skill in certain levels, it affects the costs of researching a technology. If I research this one, I get the infantry theory value increased, so that everything else that it depends on that one will be cheaper to research. So it means that what you're researching impacts what you can research in the future. The other aspect here on this screen is that we have a new resource called leadership. Usually in Hatcharian we've had manpower, which provides a brunt force to your troops. We've considered manpower to be the blue-collar workers of the world. Then we have the leadership, which is like university-educated people, which you can assign to 4 different fields, giving you 4 different strengths. Of course, all these four are weighted to each other. The fourth of these big fields is the political screen. Every country has their own historical setup of leaders and ministers and certain abilities they have. We also have a new thing called laws, where you can enact certain laws that have some benefits and other drawbacks. But if you're playing a democratic country like United Kingdom or America or so, you want to focus a lot on the politics, because the most popular party is the party that will get elected, and that affects which kind of ministers you will get. And if you end up badly and like fascists or communists get elected, you may turn into a dictatorship. The final part here is the new intelligence screen. Intelligence is tied into the number of spies I was talking about earlier. Depending on the spy level you have, the more information you can get about the country. The color of green here tells you about the information you know about other countries. As you notice, we can spot a lot of stuff into France. This is because we have a big, huge radar station. What we call radar station is radio listening post as well. We combine that to one thing. There's a lot of things that combats depend on. It's just not manpower and organization. Because a battle has limited fronts. You can't pour in like 80 divisions in one province against something and overrun the others. You can only commit, I don't know the exact numbers, could be like 3 or 5 divisions in one province that can fight at one time. So quality matters, but quantity helps if you have a huge front.